All right. Hello there, folks, and let's get ready for Crypto Update. This is Jay Scott. I'm the co-founder of Freedom Life 3.0, where we help people take back their freedom through radical health, through radical investing so that they can own hard assets like real estate, gold, and crypto. So stay with us, and we're going to talk about some crypto updates so you can live your best freedom life. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get into it today. So, there is some really good news, but before the news, disclaimer, this is not financial advice and I'm not a financial advisor. This is just a guy on the internet talking about crypto. All right, so crypto legislation. It's been a big week, folks. We've had a lot of movement towards the adoption of more crypto. So this was a bill that was on in the House and the legislation, and it got voted. You can say that we've got 196 yays. And so this was the FIT 21 bill. And what this was, it was also known as HR 4763. And this is bill introduced to the Congress, and it aims to regulate digital assets by assigning regulatory authority over to cash and to spot markets through digital commodities. So now what they're saying is that there's going to be certain cryptos that are deemed commodities, and the Commodities Future Trading, or the CFTC, will now regulate them. Get it out from Gary Gensler, get it out from under the SEC. Now, it also established that conditions under which the SEC would regulate digital's assets as a security, but they haven't defined which ones are securities. That's still up in the air, but at least they're laying the groundwork to move a lot of this out from under the SEC. The bill classifies a blockchain as a decentralized if no person or entity has unilateral authority to control it or its usage, and no issuer or affiliated person has control of 20% or more of the digital asset or its voting power. So again, this is finally some rules around what is going to be considered a security or not. So if we're on a blockchain, a decentralized blockchain, there's a good chance that it's not going to be deemed a security and it's going to be good to go. So this is really good news. So I wanted to bring that up. There's been a lot of news recently that has really opened the door for this. The next one, a lot of these slides going forward, I'm going to talk about Bitcoin, the crypto market, and again, why Bitcoin is such a good asset to invest in. And first chart we have here is, again, you've got the crypto market, and sometimes altcoins do really well. Sometimes Bitcoin does really well. And really, Bitcoin has been the king this year. And a lot of it has to do with the financial institutions coming in, offering the Bitcoin ETFs, and really more institutional adoption of Bitcoin specifically. So we're looking here, and you can see through this chart, you've got the NASDAQ, which has tripled, gold has remained unchanged, and Bitcoin stands out. You can just see through here how much larger the gain is compared to the NASDAQ and gold down here. So NASDAQ, technically tech stocks, which is a good place for putting assets right now. Seems like tech stocks are the only stocks that are doing really well. Gold, still a hard asset, and it does pretty well, and its price is up now. But Bitcoin is the king. And that's the point here, is that there's just nothing that is a harder asset, and institutions are now understanding that. So it's a big deal. All right, so here what we're looking at is, I just wanted to show that we've had the halving, right? We had the halving back in April, and Bitcoin basically it shot up to about 73,000, and then now has dropped back down, and it's been in the 60s for quite a while. And I just want people to understand what's going on with Bitcoin right now. And you've got all this money coming in the ETFs. You've got billions of dollars actually now that are held by the ETFs. You'd think that the price would be higher, but I think there's a lot of market manipulation going on behind the scenes with these Wall Street firms now involved in crypto, and they're doing some sort of shenanigans, because with the amount of money that they've taken in from customers, you'd think that the price of crypto, which they have to buy Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin would have gone up by now. And the price is still holding. And I think it's what they want. I think they want to have their control over the price and not have it shoot up so much and have it under their control. This is one of the problems that we thought was going to happen if you get more Wall Street and institutional money coming into crypto. Yeah, it's going to be a steady flow, which should push the price up. But now we've got this entity that, again, isn't really believing in a lot of the ethos that a lot of us that are in crypto understand and want, right? The decentralization of it. So we'll see how that plays out. But I wanted to look here, and you can see that after the halving, which is these blue lines in here, Bitcoin goes down a little bit, which is these yellow lines or yellow circles, and then it shoots up. And that's been the history. And so I'm going to have, I think, a few other charts that are going to show this, but it's pretty typical that after the halving, Bitcoin's going to go down, and then it eventually creeps up. And it's usually about 6 months to 9 months after the halving is when things really heat up. All right, so this is a little bit about the adoption rate. And so you can see that adoption starts off slowly. So this is the same thing that we saw with the internet, but with your typical exponential growth, you still have an S curve. But at a certain point at the beginning here, you've got this exponential growth in here. And so the point of it is that things start slow, and crypto has been around for about 15 years, but it's just now starting to pick up some momentum. But we're still in here probably, right? We're still at the beginning of the growth. And then we're going to have this exponential growth that's going to start shooting up. And it happens around the 50% adoption period. So if you compare crypto to the internet, we are about in the 1999 scenario of the internet. And we all know how internet adoption went. Eventually took a little nosedive there around 2000, and then boom, it took off. Once people started to really get involved in it and see what it was able to do, a lot more development, a lot more innovation happened, and the public realized how valuable it was to them. And then things took off. So we've got a long way to go to get to that end of that 50% adoption rate. And we really haven't even come close yet. Once it's up into here, then we're going to start tapering off. We're nowhere near that. We're still at the very beginning. So it's just, again, another point of clarification that you're not too late if you haven't invested yet. We've got a long way to go, which is really good. All right. This one's called the hot box. So interesting. We're just approaching these hot cycles again. So we've been in a bull market for over a year now, and yet it hasn't parabolically risen yet, but we still have a lot of time. And again, we've got a lot of things happening, right? When the halving happens, you drop, how many Bitcoin are being issued. So we're down about 450. The ETFs are taking up about 7,000 Bitcoin a day sometimes, and we're only issuing 450. So eventually that supply and demand is going to catch up, and the price is going to start shooting up. And you can see in these hot boxes here where it gets red, it starts to shoot up, it gets really red, and then it starts coming down, and then it gets into the yellow and the green, and that's where it's cooling down, and then it shoots back up. You get in that hot phase where it starts to really shoot up. So here we are right here, right? So we're in that area where we're just about to turn the corner and get into the hot box. So again, even if Bitcoin, which is now around 69, 70,000, if you haven't gotten in, you still have time. But if you got in before that, anytime before that, you're still in really good shape. And so we'll see what happens. But we're in good shape, especially if you're already in the market. All right, so Bitcoin volatility. So this one shows that people are always talking about, oh, crypto is so volatile, Bitcoin is so volatile. It's not really. It's actually slowing down. You can see the volatility in 21, 80 to 100% volatility. And now in 2024, it's only 40 to 60%. So really volatility is slowing down. That makes sense with all the big money coming in from the ETFs. We're going to have more consistent money. Retail has been in and out of Bitcoin. They haven't really adopted it yet. And I think as once we get over this 70 to 73 and it starts going up, your retail is going to start FOMOing in. So we're going to see a lot more of that. But I think overall, we're going to see continued slowing down of volatility, which I think is a good thing. All right. So we're still in this quiet and trending. So history shows that often there's these 90-day periods of it's quiet, it's trending. I usually just call this it's moving sideways there. And then you've got the big up and then the big down. That's what we've seen in the previous cycle. So we're still in this quiet and trending space right now. I think we're about to go crazy here. Depends. We've seen a move up from around 60 to 70,000 now in the last few days, few weeks. And we've gone sideways a bit again, and I think we're going to start to go up. But again, the rule is that in the 6 months after the halving to 9 months is when we're really going to see things really shoot up. So it's not going to, I don't think, go up parabolically here in the next couple of months. But again, a lot of people are talking about 150,000 by the end of the year. There are a lot of really smart people that are into crypto, into Bitcoin heavy, that are easily saying 150,000 by the end of the year. So we got a long way to go. That'd be double. So this chart is cool because it shows when Bitcoin is hot and when it's cold. And the red zone is when Bitcoin is hot and it's close to the top, right? So every time that it gets back into these red zones, this is when we know the market is going to go down at some point. Now, no one can call the top of these markets, and so don't even try. But we know that when things get in the red, they're hot, which means that the question is, how hot are they going to be for how long? We don't really know. We never can know. But if your investing theory is that you want to start pulling out some of your profits or all of your capital when the markets get hot, and then so you're out of the market as it comes down, and then reinvest again when we're back in the bear market, then there are charts out here you can look at that says, so we're in the orange right now, so we're not really close. We've got a long way to go in this red zone. Again, this chart goes all the way back to 2011. So you can see that if I could blow this up, we'd see that the red can last a year. So we've got a long ways to go. Again, just more ammo why crypto is hot, Bitcoin is hot. It's the best asset you can invest in as far as returns. You just have to know the cycles. And that's what we're trying to learn here, is that what happens during Bitcoin during these cycles. And we're in the up part of the cycle. It's just, again, it doesn't go straight up. It's going to go sideways for a while and go up and go down. And so where are we? And again, these charts pretty much show we're near the beginning still. So this is an interesting one about risk. Depends on your risk level, right? So if you're in crypto, you've got a pretty high risk level, but you still may want to hedge your bets and be a little conservative where you can be. So this chart shows the blue line is the Bitcoin price, and the red line is this risk level perceived by the average investor. So when the red line is higher above the blue line, it's riskiest. And at this point, you might want to take out some profit. So some people are low risk takers, and so they're going to want to buy around 0.02 and maybe sell around 0.05, right? So we've got 0.02 here and 0.02 up here. So what I was doing was in the bear market at whatever stage, I was definitely buying, right? And the question is, when do I sell? I'm 0.05, I'm still bullish, right? So we'll see what happens. Looking at maybe 0.7, 0.08, where I'm going to start taking profit. I won't pull out all my Bitcoin or all my cryptos, but I'm going to start taking profit. And then I'm going to go back to this line. I'm going to start watching the red zone to see when I want to take profit on my other crypto. So I've got 4 or 5 that I considered fairly risky. Didn't put a lot of money into those, but I don't know if any of those are going to take off or if they're going to last. But I was betting on the narrative, and the narrative of this cycle was AI. So a lot of them were dealing with AI. And so they've all done really well. They've all been moving up in this bull market. So when we get toppy to the very top end of this red zone, then I'll be selling all of those. And then I've got some Solana and some Ethereum that, again, as the market gets to the top, my Bitcoin, I'm going to take part of that. My Solana probably going to take part of that too, because I definitely believe long-term, and probably Ethereum too, especially since the Ethereum ETFs are going to be coming online soon also. So we're going to see Ethereum and Bitcoin for sure be around long term. I believe Solana also. And then my theory is that then I pick a couple that I'm going to take a risky fly on. And I've already taken some profit from those because they were up 4, 5, 6, 700% already. And as the market was coming down, I thought, okay, we'll take some profit on those. So that's good. So that's pretty much it. Of course, we got to end on meme time. So I don't know. This is funny because at the beginning of the 2024 halving, people were like, oh man, price is going down, like, what's going on? And of course, after the 2020 halving, things look really good. So you've got Jason Momoa here, big stud, looking good. It's big and strong. I think that by the time we get 6 months out here from now, we're all going to be looking like Jason Momoa. We're going to be looking good, looking strong. So hopefully this helped. Hopefully you now believe and understand that Bitcoin is still king. Crypto market's doing good. There's lots of upside from here. And just stay tuned because, again, the market's going to get to the top at some point. We're going to have to decide, are we going to take all of our profit, some of our profit, and make some money in this market? So anyways, this is the Crypto Cowboy signing out. We'll see you next time.